I have been drawing for quite a while now, but throughout all my years of being an artist, I would never call myself an OC artist. I would definitely draw my own character designs all the time, but never more than once, mainly because I have issues committing to one design. This all changed, however, when I made my first ever OCs, Bo and Annika. The first ever designs of these two I didn't actually draw, and I actually made them on a dress-up website called FIRST OCs around 2 years ago. These outfits I made were honestly eating, they look so good. I actually commissioned a bunch of people on FIRST to draw these two for me. I'll probably leave a link to my account below so that you can check out all the art that I got. The problem was, when I decided to actually make these two my OCs and give them a story and actually draw them for myself, I made their designs look like this. And these outfits are so ugly, they were not eating. They're so boring looking. So today I'm going to be trying to make these characters a lot more interesting, mainly by giving them outfits that aren't completely skin tight, and giving these girls a lot more personality. And without further ado, let's get into it. First, we're starting with Annika, because her design took the longest out of the two. This shit took me 10 hours. You will never find a slower artist than me. To explain her story, basically she is a very powerful human who was found, quote-unquote, by the sciencey organization, and she is used to defeat these monsters that are popping up around the city that she lives in. For some reason, she is the only person who is able to defeat these monsters. Some would even say that it's a fair fight. And, plot twist, both Annika and these monsters were created by this organization that she works for. The monsters came first. I imagine this organization, that I should probably come up with a name for now that I think about it, created them for military purposes or something. And then Annika came second, after these monsters got loose from the facility and started reproducing with one another, and began trying to attack and eat every single human that they found. We'll get more into these monsters later, but that's basically the gist of her lore. I didn't only want to change Annika's design, I also wanted to make big changes to her personality. Originally, I imagined her as a sort of ditzy but well-meaning sort of character, like big gentle giant vibes. Now, she's still a dumbass, but she's also kinda mean. I imagine being the only thing that could save the city would give her a bit of a god complex, making her think that she's better than everyone else around her. And because of that, she probably wouldn't have many friends within this organization, because people would either hate her because she's super stuck up, or they'd fawn over her just to get on her good side and feed right into her ego. She doesn't defeat these monsters because she genuinely cares for the greater good. She does it because it gets her a lot of attention. I feel like over the course of her story, I always imagine them in a comic, but I'll be damned if I'm drawing that myself. Annika would come to realize the importance of each human's life, because of a certain someone we'll get into later, and become a much better person. As for her actual design, yes, I'm finally done yapping about my OC lore. I didn't change it a lot, just gave more indicators about her personality within her design. There were a lot of things about her design that didn't really fit when she had her old personality, like the Y2K style bun, the super over-the-top scythe, and her jeans, though I did change them from the god-awful skinny jeans she had before. I only drew them like that so I wouldn't have to draw wrinkles, and it definitely shows. Before, she was very straight-laced and did anything the organization said, so these elements showing her individuality didn't really work. Now that she's a different person, I feel like these really fit her. I did make some pretty big changes to the top of her outfit. You'll notice that it has a lot more holes than it did before. She'd definitely be the type to cut up her given uniform to make it a little bit more sexy, a little bit more cunty, if you will. I also gave her a lot of facial and ear piercings to make her look more interesting. I also gave her grills because they looked cool with her sharp teeth. I feel like this is pretty fitting for her character. I think the head of the organization that she works at would be very against her expressing herself because she's just supposed to be used as a weapon for them and not really as a person. But Annika doesn't see that. She just likes getting yelled at by people because, it's more attention for her. You'll see I'll add some charms to her scythe to really give off the vibe that she does all this Reaper stuff for fun and has no real care for what she's doing. You might actually be wondering about the scythe because it doesn't really fit the rest of her vibe, and that was kind of the point. I wanted her to be a real all-edge, no-point sort of character. She doesn't even need the scythe to take down the monsters. She could take one down with her bare hand. But she uses the scythe because it looks cool and it makes her look menacing. I really wanted Annika to be a character who only really cares about her appearance and not the effect that she really has on people. For her colors, I kept them mostly the same, just with a few more added splashes of bright colors from all her pins and all the charms on her scythe. After I finished her main design, I did a few little quick sketches off to the side to try and really get a feel for her personality. Just a few expressions to show off her ditzy, unhinged, and pretty rude vibes. I did a side profile here. I think it looks pretty, but it also doesn't really look like her, but that's alright because I still like the pose. I have a little drawing I did of her around 2 years ago where she was smoking, and I felt like it didn't really fit her personality at the time, but after her lobotomy, she's feeling different, and now she's totally the type to smoke because it just looks cool. I also added some scars because she definitely wouldn't walk away from all these fights without any damage. She's pretty powerful, but she's also super dumb. put a little bit of information like her name, her pronouns, her sexuality, and some little bullet points about her, and with that, her redesign is complete. I'm so in love with her design now. I'm really happy with it. Next up, we have Annika's bow. Now that I think about it, I don't think I came up with the names for these characters. I think it was somebody else on FIRST Skies who gave me the idea, but I'm not that attached to these names anymore, so if you have any ideas, let me know. Anyways, back to Bo. She didn't really have a story when I first made her, or at least not a personality, so we're gonna try and remedy that now. The story I came up with for her while I was drawing was that she was raised by her mother, never knew who her father was, and became a model to try and help support both her and her mother when she got older. But another plot twist. Her father is actually the head of this organization that made Annika and all the monsters and abandoned his family to take care of this monster problem. When Bo starts to get a little bit more famous, her father doesn't want people to know about the family that he abandoned and end up tarnishing his reputation. So he sabotages her career and forces her to come work for him at the organization, or else he'd kill her or something. So she has to pack up her life with her mother and start working for him. I imagine this makes Bo pretty distrustful of people and that she would try her best to keep her head down at this organization. But since her and Annika are around the same age, her father would want her in charge of making sure Annika doesn't go off the rails and just start killing people, because that is something she would totally do. Combined with her pretty brash personality and the fact that she's half one of these monsters that they're trying to stop, I feel like that would make people pretty distrustful of Annika. Her being pretty close to Annika would probably completely disrupt her strategy of trying to keep her head down, because she would have clear access to the most important experiment in this organization, with having so little actual work done for it. About her actual design, I decided to keep her outfit pretty simple, but less skin tight like it was before. I wanted big office siren vibes. I gave her this gold locket and these transparent earrings that I feel like she would wear all the time, probably given to her by her mother or something. Originally, Bo was shorter than Annika, but I made her taller now because I felt like it would make more sense with the whole model thing. I did a couple of expressions for Bo too. They were pretty simple because I feel like she wouldn't be the type to show a lot of emotion. None of these sketches really look like her, to be honest, but I was tired after spending like 10 hours on Annika's drawing, so sue me. Put up her pronouns, her sexuality, and a little bit more information on her, and Bo is done. Finally, I wanted to do a couple of quick sketches of what the monsters in this world would look like. I just wanted to give myself a little bit of a visual of what Annika would be going up against. Now, I am really bad at monster designs, but I tried my best. Tell me they're at least a little bit spooky. I wanted to give them some human and animal design elements. I ended up liking the second design. I did much more than the snake one. The first one I did was, one, way too cute, like she's kind of adorable and not at all scary. And two, it looks way too much like a snake. Like, let's be for real, it's just a snake with human arms. The second one isn't that much better, it just ended up looking like Venom, but I like Venom, so I guess that's a win in my book. I feel like these things would come in all sorts of shapes and sizes, like they could get more or less weird looking than these ones. I wanted it to like really mess Annika up when she first finds out that she's made from the same stuff as these monsters, like complete mental breakdown level. I wanted to have some visual indicators that Annika came from the same thing as these monsters. First of all, I gave them all straight white teeth. I felt like that would tie back to Annika's teeth. Even though hers are sharp, they're still like pretty straight, kind of unnaturally so. I also gave them all blue eyes because Annika has some pretty intense baby blues on her. Put a little information about these guys, gave them a name they'll probably change later, and that's all for this video. Thank you all so much for watching. I appreciate you sticking around until this point, just listening to me yap about my OCs. It means a lot. I have some other OCs I've been meaning to redesign, so let me know if you'd like to see me do this again. I love the way these redesigns turned out, and I'll definitely be drawing them way more often now. But yeah, that's all. See you next time.